Being viewed as a minority can be exhausting and frustrating, especially when you're up against the trifecta of bias: female, Black, and over 50. Our guest was not going to let this triple plied bounty of bias stop her from reaching her startup dreams. Oh, it's Fierce Female Founder Friday on the Startup Life live show. Let's glow, everyone. Woohoo! Hello and welcome to the Startup Life Live Show. I'm your host, Ande, Lyons, 4 times founder and startup champion to founders around the world. And after raising 4 businesses of my own, I have such a deep appreciation for what you are navigating through every single day. The highs, like, oh, that feels so great. And the lows, like, oh my gosh, why did I do this? And everything in between. I'm so grateful you found the courage to launch a business and bring your fully expressed self to the world while solving an important problem. And that's why I'm truly grateful that you carved out time to tune in and listen to this delicious conversation we're going to have today and grab the gems that you need for your startup. Because as you do better, your startup will do better. Woohoo! And hi to the live viewers who are tuning in. I'm so happy that you were able to join us live. I appreciate you so much. And a hearty, big, warm welcome to the replay viewers and the podcast listeners. You are the best for tuning in and grabbing the gems that you need. I know you're going to love this conversation. Let's just have a few Andelicious announcements. But first, I just want to remind everybody, if you're tuning in from YouTube, hey, click on that subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll be alerted whenever I have a live show that's in the hopper. And if you'd like to get an alert for upcoming shows, because I'm here most Tuesdays and Fridays at 12 noon EST, join the meetup group, because here you get the deep dive into who our guest is, the type of business they have, and the topic that we're going to be addressing on the show. Okay. So, Andelicious Announcements here. Now, you know how much I am in love with Arlen, right? So you've got to hop onto her Arlen's Academy. Okay. Because literally I get emails. She's adding incredible information every single week to help you founders learn everything you need to know to launch a successful business. So be sure to go check out Arlen's Academy. And then, I don't know, do you guys know about BGV? This is an amazing group, and it's called Black Girl Ventures, and they fund and scale tech-enabled revenue-generating businesses founded by people who identify as Black, Brown, and woman. They're taking applications for their fall 2022 pitch event, and they love teaching women to pitch, and they help develop your pitch and deck through pitch practices and stuff. So you're going to love that group as well. Go check them out if you identify and are in alignment with that. And then, you know Jason Calacanis, right? So he has this thing called Founder University. And this is for founders who have just started to build an MVP or want to learn how to turn their startup idea into reality. And it's this really cool interactive 12-week course to help founders get started on that journey. Now, their cohort 3 is scheduled to begin July 11th. And yes, there is a cost. It's $700 to do this 12-week course. But guess what? If you show up live to every single weekly event and build an MVP during that 12 weeks, they refund you. So go check it out right there. So I think I have the URL course.founder.university. All the links will be in the show notes. I also want to give out a big hug to folks. This founder journey that we're on, oh my gosh, it is not easy. So I want to remind you, be sure to ask for help. Ask for introductions, ask for ideas. You need to brainstorm. Maybe someone has time to brainstorm with you. I know from personal experience, when I start talking about my problem or challenge or roadblock or discouraged moment, answers bubble up. So if I just have an actively listening person, hanging out with me, the information comes up and I go, oh, okay, thanks. And they're like, yeah, I did nothing. But, that can happen for you as well. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to someone in the founder world. And boy, peer support is everything. All right. Nobody understands what you're going through like your peer group. So be sure to reach out to folks. And today, remember, during the show, be sure to amplify your brand. Folks, this is a terrific way to get the word out about your business. Hop on to a live stream show like mine and amplify by putting down your business name, the one-liner, your website, and we'll celebrate you here. And during the conversation, always throw in some comments, okay? Because we learn from our live viewers, okay? And then those of you who are watching the replay, you got any questions that you want to add, be sure to add your comments in the comment section and we'll get back to you. Cool? All right, so now I get the super joyful moment of introducing you to our amazing guest. I'm pulling up her artwork right here so I can tell you all about the one, the only Kerry Schrader. In 2015, Kerry teamed up with her daughter, Ashlee, and they founded Mixtroz, a tech startup that helps meeting attendees easily mix, meet, and mingle with one another, all while helping the event organizer learn more about attendees based on their in-app responses to customized questions. And get this dynamic mother-daughter team went on to close a $1 million round of funding, making them the 37th and 38th Black female founders to ever close $1 million fund. Come on, we got to bring Kerry into the room. Woo-hoo! Welcome to the show, Kerry Schrader.
Hey, I'm so delighted to be here. I'm so psyched up. You got me fired up. And it's, Fired Up Friday.
Yeah, Fierce Founder Fired Up Friday. Oh, I'm so happy that you're here. I am a huge fan of Mixtroz. There's this wonderful group out there. You guys may recall when I had Jill Johnson on from her Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership. Well, they have that really great group, Women of Color community, and they use Mixtroz for their networking events. It is so delicious.
Wow, I appreciate that you have actually used Mixtroz, and definitely appreciate Jill and her organization for becoming a client and getting the utility of what we do.
Oh my gosh, anybody right now, I'm just going to put out the shameless plug right now, which is if you have an event, if you have community of any kind, you don't even need to have an event. If you just want to gather people and have them have fun and get great questions and great answers and conversations going while getting the data that you need about your community, while gathering the data your sponsors might want about your community. Come on, accelerator programs. I'm talking to you too as well. So don't mind me, Kerry. I just had to do that plug for you.
I love it. And I love you. Thank you so much. I'm like, oh, we need her on our team because you're talking to talk.
That's right. Hey, Trishina, so happy that you're here and joining us today. Thank you so very much. I feel like, did I meet you at a Mixtroz networking session? I don't recall, but anyway, I just meet so many wonderful folks out there. So, Kerry, this has been an interesting journey. I'm always fascinated by my guests and what makes them want to leave what I would call guaranteed paycheck behind, right? And benefits in the 401ks, et cetera, especially someone like you who has a deep, strong background working in large corporate, getting paid well for working in large corporate. And you also have this deep connection and deep understanding of human connection in that work environment. So I'm just so curious, what called you to team up with your daughter in 2015 and join the wild ride of startup life?
I got to say, you got to be a little bit crazy. But the thing that I love about our founder story is it was accidental. My daughter and Ashlee was doing her thing big in New York City. Her claim to fame is she was LeBron's first intern in her undergrad, which I always remind her, hey, I paid for all of your experiences in your undergrad. But she had went on to New York and she was a director of events. She's done events for Oprah and the Olympics and like pretty much any A-lister that you can think of. And one weekend, we both went to networking events. I lived in Nashville at the time. She was in New York. We were with our own age demographic. And when we had our normal mother-daughter talk on that next day, it was like, wow, it was exhausting. And it's hard to meet the right people when you're there. And I didn't want to play the little look at somebody's name tag, go up close, especially at a woman's event that she was at, and on their booth for this little color. And so she didn't meet anybody. And so when we talked about it, we're both extroverts. It's like, why did that happen in my demographic? I worked like all evening introducing people who would say, Kerry, who is that? Introduce me. Kerry, who is that? Introduce me. And literally we had the conversation that there has to be a better way. We got on our respective laptops and we what we like to call it, we got on the Google and looked for an answer. And when we didn't find it, we literally made Mixtroz up, human first, technology second, because we knew zero about technology.
And they're right there, right off the bat, two women, non-tech backgrounds, extroverts, understanding the deep challenge of how do you get something meaningful with also exactly without the magnifying glass, because we don't always have our reading glasses on, folks. When we're at these events, we're like, what's that name there? That is so incredible. So when you started to pull things together, because as you know, MVP, right? Minimum viable product, folks. A lot of people can dump a ton of money with a production house and all a product dev place. How did you two decide, okay, we need to create a technology, and how did you find the person to do that with?
I tell you what, and I have to tell you because of my Christian faith, a lot of things like God is just like, these two fools are trying to do this, so I'm gonna boom, 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 put stuff in their path. So the one thing I want to make clear to everybody is people assume that if my daughter and I quit our jobs in order to pursue this, then Kerry, because my daughter's not married, has a rich husband and he's just bankrolling all of this. My husband had been retired as a stay-at-home dad as we were moving around the country with my HR career. So when we stopped working, my husband was like, so you're saying there's nothing going to happen on the 15th and the 30th? And there's also no talk of options and all of those things. And he had been retired. He retired early for maybe 15 years, 10 years 12 years when we started this. He's like, honey, you can do whatever you do because I trust you, but this is a lifestyle. So I'm no longer going back to work. So I just want to clear that up. So we went all in, not understanding the craziness that this journey would be. But back to your question, how did we figure it out? Well, hell, I had just got out of rehab. Not for that, but for using my BlackBerry. So I was very non-technical. When my last role, I was like, if you don't fix this little ball, I quit. So being non-technical, we really did rely a lot on the Google of trying to figure it out and meet people. And I'll tell you, when we got some of our first quotes in Nashville, they were $250,000 to like, we're going to create this thing and hopefully it works, whatever. And ended up going to CES, which I didn't even know what that was, the Consumer Electronics Show in January of 2015.
In Vegas, yeah.
In Vegas, I happened to go by myself because my daughter was still working and that kicked off her event season. And she was like, oh Lord, you're going to go there like a older woman looking at these people, whatever. But guess what? Again, God went boom. And I met our developers there, which was with us for the first 5 years until we were able to afford a CTA, an internal hire. Yeah. So things just work out. And, you ask a lot of questions. And these guys who brought our vision to life, really, like they started off with, we're not going to take your money if we don't believe in what you're doing, because what we don't want to do is build something out and then you're not happy. And then we also taught them some things.
Wait. You got to back up. We don't want to take your money. Say that. What?
Yeah, they said we're not going to take your money if we don't believe in what you're doing, because if we get to the end and you don't like the product, you'll be blaming us. So yes. The first step was they believed in what we were building, and we helped open their eyes beyond being a development team to true utility, because where Ashlee and I are not tech people, we are domain experts at work and play. From my HR role, her director of events, and that's how Mixtroz was built. Human first, technology second. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without those guys who weren't charging $250,000, who would let me pay a little something like on layaway. These people probably don't know what layaway is.
Yeah.
A little something on it. And then we got to where we are today. And I will ever be grateful to them.
Oh my gosh, folks, I have to tell you, this is the beauty of showing up. Okay. Yes, God came in and boom, boom for you, Kerry, but also you said, I will show up. I know nothing. I am going to feel probably a little shame and insecure when I walk. When I walk through these booths, but I am going to be vulnerable because I have a bigger vision and a bigger purpose that dissolves or at least dilutes that fear and insecurity. So you were willing to show up at seriously, this is the largest tech show, not just tech show, just the largest show on the planet, period. It's like a whole city practically. It's so big. So for you to walk through, and then of course the miracle happens. So folks, I got to tell you, sometimes just saying yes, but definitely showing up and pulling on the thread. Where's the developer who can help us out? And to get a developer that's so high in integrity, like that. We had a guest on the show last fall whose developer didn't tell her that they didn't know how to do back end. So when they got the whole front end built and they said, okay, we're ready to do back end, the guy disappeared, ghosted with all the code, and they had to start from scratch. So I just love that this happened for you. Yep, Richard O, you got that right. Things just worked out. But, we have to show up for things to work out. We have to help God, so to speak, by being willing to show up. So when you onboarded them, you were probably, and creating that MVP, you still had to figure out things like, well, what's our product market fit? What's our customer segment? What's our unfair advantage? Can you talk a little bit about that process? Because you're going to be bringing you're bringing a technology platform to life. How did you know who to go after? How did you know how to prove what you thought folks would want?
Well, first of all, I'm going to say perhaps they onboarded us as far as how they thought the technical piece would be. My daughter is a powerhouse. She was still in New York. She would go to different brands online and she would make the fishbone diagram on her bathroom door and call me at 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, do you know what time it is here? To say, look at this, or this is the aesthetic, or this is what I think. But I do want to say it's kind of like when you watch America Got Talent. Don't do what I do, what you see on TV, because I will tell you we did it ASS backwards. And luckily we had the domain experience. So I knew with 25 years of HR expertise that engagement is the name of the game inside of our business enterprise vertical. My daughter knew as an events director, when we get people somewhere, what do we get from that collision? How are they acting? Do we get any data from it? How do we engage them? Because if they're engaged, they'll keep coming back. So our domain experience allowed us to be our test market. And I will tell you, before I knew what product market fit was, probably 2 years after that, we were like, oh, again, the higher power had us on the right track. And again, because of that domain expertise, we weren't stabbing in the dark. And we always intended to fix the issue at the very lowest level that would be the most impactful for humans. Notice I keep saying humans and not technology. Could care less about the technology. It should support human interaction. And that's what we built.
Human interaction and connection and laugh out loud. Yeah. Because that's what you do using technology. This is, folks, an outstanding example of what investors love to see. It doesn't always happen for some of us, waving my hand here. It's called founder market fit. So Kerry and Ashlee had a dynamic founder market fit because of their domain authority. It's kind of like me as a 4-time founder talking to you right now. I got a ton of domain expert and authority. And so that's what they had, because they understood what the real value was that they're bringing to the table. They just had to figure out how to make it work on a tech level. And they landed a great person and a great group to help them. I'm just going to say a quick hello. Sometimes LinkedIn doesn't give us your name, but I know it's you, Brent Manuel from Ottawa, Canada, who is our biggest advocate for diversity. Brent, I shared a great article on how we can make our office spaces neurodiverse friendly. Go check it out on Twitter. And yes, Richard O, engagement is the name of the game. Stitch that on a pillow. Okay, don't mind if I do. Let's just make that happen right now. I love it. I love that, Richard. Oh, engagement is the name of the game. We know this from years of watching technology fail at creating human connection and good quality human connection. And, at these events, you're right. I mean, I used to do research before I went to an event to see who was going to be there and make sure I connected with the speakers and make sure I gave them love before I got to the event. But, there's some great people that you sit with at the event and you want to build that relationship with them. And that's what you do through your platform. Can I just, what I'd love to do? I'd love to do a quick screen share of your website. May I do that?
Yes.
Oh, good. Let's just bring that baby up because this is, I want people to get a good feel. There we go. Here it comes. Boom.
That's it.
Let me just get rid of that. I'll accept that. Okay. So Mixtroz is connection, community, and data on demand. And so easy to get started, right? And schedule a demo, right?
Yes. And actually those 15-minute demos are scheduled 2 or 3 times a week. They last 15 minutes. It allows our potential clients to actually experience Mixtroz, how it works, see how the back end works. So I definitely would say click on that button and sign up. The only word that is missing from that header is Mixtroz creates meaning to connection, to community, and data on demand. There is not just a random thing. We believe that the host should know more than anybody why people want to come together. It's not always because they need to be similar. Sometimes they need to be diverse. Sometimes it needs to be random. And at Mixtroz, we have figured out how to have our proprietary algorithm do just that, to drive a return on investment for an attendee who will go somewhere with somebody they already know. They'll go and look for somebody they know. And in the digital age, they'll play with their phone until they feel comfortable. Mixtroz solves for that for them. They give the organizer real-time data and insight into their people and what they want. And then if there's a sponsor in play, because of Ashlee's event background, we also give a return on investment in real data. So we have figured out how to make gatherings of 50 or more human focused, human centric first. And we don't take the place of the different technologies out there or even the video conference technologies. We are the thing that's missing, and that's real engagement. So we complement them, or Mixtroz can be used on its own. I feel like that was a total Miss America commercial, but guess what, people? That's what we do, and we do it well.
Yes. And folks, this is why you want to get on a live stream show and get this word out. Okay. And my podcast viewers, we just got a lovely walkthrough by Kerry of her website, but you got a good idea from her verbal description as well. And yes. Oh, good. We love it when folks from the crowd share. Thank you, Trishina. She's like, glad to be learning about Mixtroz.com today. Oh, thank you, Trishina. You're the best for doing that and amplifying. Hooray. And so, folks, this is, as someone who has experience, and you heard my plug earlier, the questions that you get asked before you go into the room are really fun icebreakers. One of my favorite was, do you like to cook, or do you like to do this? Or my favorite was make a reservation. That's what I like to make for dinner. It's not that I don't like to cook. It's just that I love it. I could have a chef. Let's just say that, a personal chef, and tell them what I want every day. So, these little things that you can find out about yourself, but also it tells your event organizer something interesting about you as well. So you can see that there's different revenue streams coming in. How are you differentiated from others who provide this service?
Well, actually, again, we're not an events platform. We are engagement. And so for people that have attended events on different platforms, although you know who the speakers are, you know what's for lunch, when it comes to meeting humans, it's hard to do. If you've been on the video calls and you get broke into a small group, you like stare at each other like, why are we in here? Mixtroz, again, gives all the power to the host to ask those questions, make the group similar, diverse, or totally random. And once you're actually in the groups, Mixtroz, through the host, provides you with icebreakers that will say, Ande, ask this question. Kerry, ask this question, so that you're engaged. You can see why you're in the groups. And while you're doing that, the event organizer can see what is happening in the groups with their data in real time, which makes it a better interaction, a more meaningful interaction for you, for them, and for a sponsor.
Right. And then folks can easily get linked in with each other and start building their professional network, right?
Yeah, well, we're not connected directly to LinkedIn at this point, but what you experienced is when your group is done, you get a picture of what your group members look like that day, not on their best day where you don't recognize them, like, who is that from 1929? You see what they look like that day, and you can push a button next to their picture, and it sends them your information. And if they're interested in connecting, you'll connect. And if they're not, it's really not a connection. So all of this clicking and swiping left and right and all of that, people have to understand it's a two-way street. If I want to connect with you, but you don't connect back, there's really no reason for me to go on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and try to reach out, because we haven't connected. We set the attendee up for the best experience, and everybody wins.
Yes, they sure do. And Rebecca Moore, founder of In a Nutshell coaching female founders everywhere she glows. I agree with your comment here. Happy to learn about Mixtroz. Thank you, Ande Lyons, for introducing us to Kerry and her company. You know, as your beta test kitchen grows and your events grow, right, Rebecca, for female founders, what a great way. Seriously, you just got to go hop on and get a demo. You will love, love, love how Mixtroz and Kerry and Ashlee have set this wonderful way to have human connection. And I love your point. Not that profile shot that you had taken, where you're all dolled up. It's your photo from the event that day. Or from the networking thing. And also you get popped in. So after you have a certain amount of time with the group, you can stay, or you have the option to go to another group if it's a large enough event, right, Kerry?
And all of that is at the discretion of the host, because again, they know okay, I want just this one group. Maybe it's a project team and I just want them to talk about that. But if it's a networking happy hour, not only did I get to talk to this group of 3 to 10, because we don't go larger than 10, because you're not really having an opportunity to interact, and we don't go less than 3 because humans really don't feel comfortable one-to-one on their initial meeting. But if the host would like, they can simply hit a button called remix. And on the days of the old CD shuffle, it will just shuffle and try to put you in a new group. And that gives you another opportunity to meet people in real time, live or virtually.
Right. And from the comfort of wherever you are.
Yes, if it's a virtual mix, but now I got to tell you, live mixes are coming back. And so now it's even more awkward for attendees who don't know how to do it, because we've not done it for a while. So some of our clients use Mixtroz for lunch or dinner time seating. Again, breakout groups, whatever, is no more of the, count to 10 or all the green-eyed people go here, or the purple hair people, me, go over there. We always used to say, especially when we were just a live platform, you can look down on an event and it always looks like a sad Sadie Hawkins dance. It's men on one side, women, the blacks, the whites, the heavies, the skinnies, the glasses, the non-glasses. Mixtroz says if you're at an event, live or virtual, you should have an opportunity to meet other people there. And we're going to help you do it. And again, have a return on investment for everybody that's involved.
Yeah. And folks, if you've ever gone to a Club Med, am I dating myself? They do this. They help you mix and match and connect, and with all sorts of fun events. It's the same thing, because a lot of times, we don't want to be that person. And I'm an extrovert. So of course I'm rubbing my hands when I walk into a room full of strangers like, yay. But most people are not like that. And they want to crawl into a corner, or they won't even go to the event because they don't have someone they're going with. This, relieves that pressure. So if you have to be at that conference now, you're going to meet some like-minded people where you're going to have conversations that aren't necessarily about your work, your business, etc. And you'll be able to connect on that human level. And this is what's so great about you and Ashlee. Experts in your domain. Love that. You with the HR human connection, because you've been working at that for 25 years. And Ashlee, clearly inventing is her jam. She's amazing. So let's talk about, first of all, I got to get the clappers out. Congratulations on raising over $1 million and landing as the 37th Black woman to raise over $1 million. That is mwah, mwah, mwah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's awesome on one hand, and it's sad on the other that we are counting. We did that in 2018 with our first company, because we reset again in 2021. But yes, it's great and bad at the same time.
And anybody listens to the show knows how I feel, because I always bring up Clubhouse, which I have never gone on, nor do I intend to, how they were able to raise money with only one app. Okay, two white guys, and then had a secret handshake with that one app until they decided a year later, after they had raised another $bajillion at a bajillion value. Seriously, they had a valuation and never generated a dime of $1 billion when they raised their final round. Any of us women of color, anybody in Black, BIPOC, LGBTQ plus would have had to have had their app in both iOS as well as Android before anybody would have given them money. So yes, we congratulate you, but on the other hand, we want you to raise another couple million, because why not? This platform is worthy of it. I love what you call it, hell raising. So let's talk about what it's like to raise funds as, what I have clearly called the trifecta of bias. You're a woman of color, you're Black, and you are over 50. Sorry, but there you have it. No, I'm celebrating. I'm glad you're here to be over 50. And
just had a birthday on Monday. So yes, I'm glad.
Happy birthday, Kerry. And so now you've got to get in front of folks who are like, well, what does she know? Because you're going to get hit with ageism. What does she know? Because she's a Black femtech founder. What does she know? Because she's a woman. So how did you and Ashlee, who's younger, but still going to be up against two of those biases, what was that like? What did you learn from that experience?
I have to say, as an HR professional at the level I was at, I was really shocked the amount of discrimination. Like, I really thought free capitalism, green dollars, okay, great, not going to run into these issues that, are rampant throughout corporate America, especially when we started. And so when somebody pointed out the statistics after we had already jumped in the water, I was like, what are you talking about? And the fact that I have to raise money, and the fact that when Mixtroz first came out, even in our MVP, it was Android and iOS. And it was always something. It was always something else. And Ashlee and I have been called cute, the cute mother-daughter shtick. And it's like, no, this is a business thing. This is business, and we're two professional business women. We have done our thing in our careers, and there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to do it here. We've been questioned that we're mother-daughter. Will it work between mother-daughter? I'm like, man, I see a lot of father-son signs, and there's no
for centuries.
Yes. I've been questioned, am I really committed? Would I be willing to sleep on a mattress? And my answer is hell no. I worked 25 years. I have one of those great mattresses that conform to my back, and I'm not willing to give it up, nor should that be the litmus test. So I have to say, very, very shocked. And, even now, after George Floyd's murder and all the You Too and all the thing, Me Too, and we're going to do all of these things that, has been all over the news. In addition,
lip service.
Yes, it's been all over the news. Not only has investment gone down since the George Floyd murder. We were at $1 billion as a whole, people of color, the whole shebang. And now it went down to 324 million. So 2/3 have gone away is the last article I saw.
Yeah.
In a major publication, even just this week. And so it has been a crazy road to have to, every time you get in front of somebody, validate your existence. And what I tell people is, especially at that angel round, you're really looking at the person. Do you think that they can do it? And do you believe in what they're trying to build? I always have felt that people thought that we should already come a business that's thriving, looking for angel money. It's like, well, if that's the case, I wouldn't be looking for you. Now, we have been it with the right people at the right time and was able to raise that million. And even in this past 2021, as we had to reboot and take all of our learnings from our initial product and totally rebuild Mixtroz in a year, to be able to raise more money. But I will tell you, one of our investors have said, you guys are the most capital efficient companies I've ever seen. And I got to even tell you, that's good and bad. You can only stay scrappy so long if you really intend to scale. And as we're about to raise more funds in Q3, that's our thing. We have to move from scrappy to scale. But I'm not as nervous as the market would tell you, because we've never been overvalued. We've been undervalued, underestimated, and underfunded. The only thing we're over is over mentored and over accelerated. And so I'm ready to go ahead and make this next money really quickly scale our business and move from famine to feast, because we're awesome, and so is our product.
Absolutely. Any of you angel investors who are tuning in, come on. Who wouldn't want to invest in this incredible team? We don't need to say mother-daughter. Yeah. They are two founders that are knocking it out of the park, and they know what they're doing. And I'm just going to say, I'm having an Andelicious moment.
Well, of course, I appreciate that. But, we started off bootstrapping, which I wish you could have been there when I explained to my husband what the hell bootstrapping was, because I didn't know what it was. And so he's like, so you're going to take money into something that you don't know and invest. My daughter, I tell her quick, I bootstrap, you sandal strap. So she threw a sandal strap in there. We, again, blessed and highly favored, we were able to raise almost $200,000 in friends and family, when Black females were raising $36,000.
Right.
And then we've had angel funding, family office, VC. We won a couple huge contests, including Rise of the Rest. We won an international contest that we knew then. This is not just a US based problem. This is a problem that everybody is experiencing. But guess what? All of that, even I'll never forget when we got in our first Forbes article, we were like, this is going to be it. People want to see us. And just like we see it work for other people of different sex and complexion, people are going to throw money. It was like maybe our website spiked for 27 minutes, and then it was nothing. None of the accolades that have worked for other people, none of the articles. And that's why I tell entrepreneurs, don't chase the rainbow of thinking, if I'm in an article or I'm doing something. Any press you've seen us in has come to us for free, and we'll share the story, whatever. But to make that part of your daily spend of your day, it really does not pay off, because again, if you have on this particular earth suit, it doesn't pay off. Even though you got to say, this oil of Olay is working for me.
Let me just bring that right up. It's working great.
Yes, it's still, all of that
gorgeous.
Doesn't matter.
And you know what? And you're bringing up something. And folks, the reason I had the Andelicious moment, first of all, was because who wouldn't want to hang out with Kerry all day? So much fun, so delicious. But also, she brought up the being over mentored. This happens all the time. We hear it all the time about being over mentored. You got to have the money. You can only be, really lean for so long. It's great for implementing those really smart systems and procedures so that you can stay lean going forward. But you need money to grow when you're a tech business, that you need the marketing that you need to leverage, you need the technology that you need to leverage, coupled with the fact that, these, what I call vanity metrics. It's great. Fast Company, Forbes, just being tons of likes and things like that on social media. Those are just vanity metrics. At the end of the day, it is your traction and your ability to become sustainable and profitable. So sometimes that's one customer at a time, but okay. So Kerry, please meet Ruby Sunshine. She's an amazing, she's saying, yes, indeed, let's go feast, woot. And I love it. Congratulations, Kerry. Ruby has an amazing story. She's helping folks, families, and people of color become financially independent with her work. Do you know Ruby Sunshine?
I don't know her, but that is what's needed, because listen to me, people. Had I not had a career, and my husband had an awesome career before he retired, we at Mixtroz never could have been. Because there was a point that when Ashlee quit her job in New York, moved back home for the first time since her undergrad, nobody in my house had a job. My husband was retired. I wasn't working, she wasn't working, and my son was in 10th grade, like, hey, I need to get a car like everybody else got, and I need to do these things. And had we not had some financial stability, we would not have been able to survive. So Ruby Sunshine Taylor, congratulations to you, because it does start off, not only is it linchpin in our personal life, as you move to a business professionally, you have to understand finances in order to continue to move forward.
That's right. And you're going to do another big clap, because folks, I want you to remember, if you didn't see the episode with Ruby Sunshine, this is the woman, highly educated and really rocking her profession, when she was in an accident and had a brain injury. And what I love, Ruby, first of all, is just how out there you are. When she was on the show, Kerry, she said, look, everyone, just get comfortable with the fact that sometimes it takes me a while to say something, or I'm searching for a word. So just get over it and accept it. It was wonderful. And so, she's got this business now. She's raising 2 kids with her wife. It is not easy, but she is loving it, and she's nailing it, and she's getting what she needs to thrive, and she's helping people understand their money and put it where it goes and needs for them. I also want to bring up the fact that you and your husband, this is so important, everybody. I wrote a great article on Medium called When Your Loved One Isn't an Entrepreneur. And it starts off with, are you getting hate mail? Not from clients and people, but from your loved one. It's how to have these important conversations ahead of time to get the person on board and have them understand this is an investment you're making. Okay. There's no guarantee it will work out, but the guarantee is that you are going to be better and more qualified for anything you're going to do after this experience, or you're going to hit it out of the park and you're going to nail it, and it's going to just have a huge bang, and it's worth carving out that time in your life. You always win at entrepreneurship. So thank you so much, Kerry, for sharing how you have done and made this work your whole life, for the last 5-6 years now. Let's talk a little bit about ageism. We were just talking about how hard it was, in raising the money, but a lot of women, and I know Rebecca's part of lots of groups talking about this right now, is that people put anybody over 50, over 60 as being gray and really stupid when it comes to technology, which is so untrue. And they put us in these old memes and old categories instead of celebrating who we be. And wow, we're knocking it out of the park. In the startup world, it tends to focus on the under 30 crowd, the Forbes 30 under 30. Wow. What we could have done if we were living at home, eating, being fed by our parents. What did you see out there, and how have you dissolved that bias, or at least diluted it a little?
Well, I have to say again, my daughter is awesome, because she is really quick to tell people, if it wasn't for this chick, me, we wouldn't. I let the entrepreneurship bug bite me first, when she was very like, I don't know if I can let go of these designer bags and all of those things. I was focused on Mixtroz from the very beginning, and left my career for that. I will tell you, and so she's quick to tell people, like 100%. I always found it, and even sometimes now, it's like, So everything I've done in the past 25 years, I got a couple degrees, advanced degrees, like that counts for nothing. I've literally been with my daughter and she's beautiful. She is beautiful. And people will look at her and talk to her face and then give me the, isn't it great that you're out of the nursing home today? You know, and so, I want to be careful because I don't want to be, I want to assert myself. I also see my daughter growing as a business professional and I'm loving it. But like, that's why my handle on Twitter is at the Mill Plus, on Instagram is at the Millennial Plus. And I got that because I was on a stage and I was like, you guys clap like hell for millennial and you cry when you see me come, but I'm the Millennial Plus, so clap.
There we go.
So it's just, it's sad. It's sad for any reason to feel like you're discriminated against. And the other thing, going back to Ruby Sunshine, I love that financial piece. Entrepreneurship should not be just for the elite. And that's right. What we love it when it's young, and we love it when a rich person is able to get richer. But when you're the underdog, you have to fight 27 times harder without any accolades, without any protein drink, and you have to fight. We have to do better. And it starts with us. And I'm telling you, Ande, I am in love with you because as I told you, not only I said there's a big difference between a cheerleader who likes to clap and be in pictures and, snap their fingers, and an ally who will tackle and block. But as you said, I'm an accomplice. I'll actually get up with you at 2 a.m. And that's what people need. And because people don't have enough of that, we're missing out on a lot of potential businesses and answers and solutions because those people aren't able to rise up.
That's right. I am 100%. You can be incarcerated and still go on and have an incredibly fruitful life, provided you're given the opportunity. And
Marcus Bullock of Flick Shop is an example of that. I had a meeting, just a chance meeting with him at South by Southwest. You guys can look him up. Was a 15-year-old Black young man in prison. And now he is tearing it up. I think John Legend recently invested in his company called Flick Shop.
Good. You can turn it around, but we have to be there for each other too, folks.
Yes.
Founder to founder, peer to peer. And just to speak a little bit more about the age thing myself, when I stopped my last business and I wanted to be out there mentoring other founders, and I'd go to these events in Boston, right? And I was well over 50. And what I learned is that it's an energy thing. Because over the years, the continuing feedback I would get from anybody under 30 is like, you're the most interesting person in the room. And I'd be like, I could be your grandmother. Really? And they're like, no, this is, and it's because of the enthusiasm, right? It's because of the passion that I believe in their ability, no matter what happens, because as Rebecca was so kind enough to coin right here, Ande's entrepreneurial guarantee. There's no guarantee that'll be a unicorn, but you're going to be better, more qualified, and better for having cultivated your divine purpose. Thank you for that. Right. And also, I was doing something that Rebecca has put together here. I do not believe that you should be caged by your age, whether you're 15 or 75. You cannot let that be a limitation. Thank you for your great comment. You want to read her great comment there for me? Can you see that?
Age is not a cage. I love that. Age is not a cage. It's never too late to cultivate your purpose. You are a legitimate and a courageous entrepreneur. And that goes to everybody who is listening.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to pop, Ruby shared her URL, everybody. It's thefinancialjoyschool.com. Very simple. They have fun flashcards for the family, so you can learn the terms and, games you can play, but also to train your brain to make investments, because you want to be earning money while you're sleeping and not through your network marketing, multi-level marketing gig. You want it to be investments in either real estate or stocks, etc. So, all right, God, we're covering so much ground here today. I also want to talk a little bit about how you and Ashlee helped and pivoted, or whatever you needed to do during the pandemic.
Oh my goodness. I'll never forget. It was March the 11th of 2020. I was coming back from a trip that I had canceled because something was going on in San Jose with some kind of disease. And when I was coming back through the airport, it was apparent that something had changed. I saw people with N95s, which I knew what that was because I am a former safety engineer at Ford. And then I saw people washing their hands like they were going into surgery. You know, sometimes people don't always do that at the airport. And so when I came back, we were just getting traction on our in-person business, and the algorithm was working and all of that kind of stuff. And I announced to the office, we have to do something virtual. We have the basics for it. We have to build that out. And so it's really about being open to change. Like, people can talk about it, but you can't be married to something that don't want to be married to you. So we could have kept saying, look, Mixtroz Live is going well, and not paying attention to what's going on. Or that day, March the 11th, we then start pivoting. And it's funny, we were talking to somebody just yesterday. We never stopped building. Like, so there was never a, you know, nobody's working. We weren't in the office anymore, but we immediately went from that live option to building out the virtual and hybrid, and then being able to relaunch our business in November 21. And we got clients from Google to Salesforce to Babson College, and it's been the hustle of Kerry and Ashlee. But now we have the product processes in place, and that's why we're going to raise this next round of money so that we can scale quickly. We need more people to know about us, and that stuff costs money. Marketing.
It does. Marketing is an investment, and you've got to be tracking it so you can see what your ROI is on it, but it is an important dollar in order to reach. I mean, this organic growth stuff is for the birds. You got to, you know, it's not enough to have keywords, people, to grow your business. You need to do bona fide advertising and real marketing strategies that need to get out and reach people. You are a breast cancer survivor. Thank you. I'm so grateful for that outcome. So happy. How has that experience helped you become a stronger founder?
Let me just tell you, because when your life flashes in front of your face, you really quick learn how to prioritize. We had just raised that friends and family round, went to a mammogram. Nothing was going on. Literally almost canceled it because I was supposed to meet Ashlee in Denver, flying out to meet her for an event. And my mammogram that we schedule a year out, ladies, mammogram, men, your thing. If you got to go to a free clinic, get your annual checkups, because had I not went to there, I might not be sitting here. And so I say that the focus on my faith, family, friends, and Mixtroz truly got me through that, because I was like, I just raised this money for my friends. I can't go nowhere. And literally, when they were wheeling me into surgery, I was telling the surgeon, when I wake up, I'm going to tell you how I can make y'all meetings more effective. And he was like, good night. So truly, the one thing I can say is this: as busy as you are, whether you're an entrepreneur, leading your family, leading a corporation, you're not that busy to not get your exams. Because I'm gonna tell you, I was really busy, and my calendar totally opened up when I heard the word cancer. And I am blessed to be here, totally fine, and just hoping to be a voice for others. I actually sit on a couple boards here in Birmingham to fight the good fight and to make sure people are aware of what's in the community so that they can fight the good fight.
Oh, I'm so happy for that outcome. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for that plug to remind everybody, guys, for you and women, definitely. I know it's like having a car run over your boobs on the cement pavement, but they're
and river dance on top of them. You know what? At the end of the day, you got to do it. And you don't make an excuse with no insurance or little insurance, because there's a lot of pop-up places. And sometimes you got to humble yourself, go to a free clinic, but just know there's no business, there's no family stuff, there's no corporate job if you're not on this side. So
that's right. We want you healthy and able to show up, and you got on the other side. This is such wonderful. So let's talk about, what does success look like for you at this point in time? And I always ask this too, Kerry, how are you measuring? Because we talked earlier about, it feels so good to get that Forbes article, but how do you measure that? You can't really. This is measuring using your own measuring tape, because often we look outside ourselves and say, okay, if I look like that, then I'm successful.
Yep. No, don't stay in your lane and dream your own dreams. So, I mean, success for us is as we continue iterate client acquisition, being able to measure how much money we put in the funnel and how much money we get out. Um, and as we can just continue to grow and to be able to bring on a couple more members, we'll never be one of those companies that have 15,000 people. You shouldn't measure your success by how many people you are able to hire. How many people are you able to keep hired and not lead to some other kind of detriment? That's one. Again, as we are ready to raise these funds, how quickly we can raise them so that we can pour gas and get all of these. It cracks me up when people are like, what's your CAC? What's your COGS? What's your this and that? It's like, first of all, you need money and people in order to do that. We've been lucky. Mixtroz is 6 people. Ashlee and I are 2 of them.
Right.
But we're also a technology company. So we do not need a lot of people to be successful, but we do need to extend our staff. And so to be able to do that, measurement for me is the more my daughter is able to be in that position that the company continues to thrive. I do want to be able to enjoy life, because COVID has showed us that no matter what your age, it can be gone in a minute.
That's right.
So we work really hard. We have just started embracing we're allowed to play as well. And don't judge me if you see me on the beach and like, she's not doing anything, because you're also not.
That's a meme from the 90s, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, your business needs to serve you. I don't care if you're on your way to an IPO, your business needs to serve you and not the other way around. And you can do that by sometimes growing at a nice measured pace, but also you have to put fun on the calendar. You have to put time off on the calendar and time with your loved ones on the calendar so that you implement and execute that part of your founder journey. I love that. So 2015, you got off the train of corporate life and you stepped into entrepreneurship. Tell everybody how this has served you, this wonderful journey, both professionally as well as personally.
It's been great. Like the one thing I want to say is, just because of a corporate background or education, entrepreneurship is a whole different horse. So I've been able to take like governance, and that's been helpful from my background. But I've always been a real person that has been vulnerable, that love other people and really want to be helpful. When people got in an issue, it's not because I didn't do everything I could do to help them. They didn't want to help themselves. And that has carried over. I'm big on do what you say you're going to do. I'm big on honesty and transparency. So when you see these other companies that are getting hundreds of millions of dollars and you know enough to know that they're lying, when you see whatever you see on Mixtroz, it's 100%. It's too hard to keep up with lies. So I've been able to bring that over. I've been able to bring the wisdom of life. There's just some stuff, because I've been on the earth longer than other people, that I understand the A and B of it.
Yes.
But I have enjoyed this time. It's the craziest time, but how many people have gotten to really know their adult children besides seeing them on vacation or on a phone call? Me and Ashlee were sleeping in the same bed during the accelerator, where she would wake up and say, "Mom, this is scary to wake up with your mother." I said, "You woke up with me for 9 months. I didn't charge you a penny. Shut up and go to sleep." So we've had a lot of fun times. My family has galvanized. My son is a big Mixtroz cheerleader. He's like, "You want me to put that on one of these big muscles?" I'm like, "Okay, Zach." We've been able, we've been able to grow. And let me just tell you, for those people who are corporate or working a job, those jobs aren't easy either. But this job is for me, by me. So I can set the culture. I can set the pace. I'm the one hustling it. My employees, they love Mixtroz. They're in it. My daughter, obviously, as a co-founder, she's in it. So every day is not bright, but I have had way more better days than bad. And usually when it's a bad day, it's talking to somebody who has no idea what they're talking about, but want to tell me. And if you don't listen, then you're not coachable. But actually, you have to start asking all of these coaches, show me what your experience is. So people love you, Ande, because you've done it 4 times. people who've never done it, who's never gone without,
Wow.
who's never been told no, who's never like shorted a bill because they're trying to pay on this. Watch the people that you put on pedestals as experts.
Absolutely, 100%. And what we see, folks, back in the day when I was a bank commercial lender, I also was a private banker at a big bank here in Boston. And in my portfolio were the top VCs. Okay. I've been hearing their stories from day one. And one of the things that VCs are fond of doing is hiring some smarty pants kid out of some Ivy League school and having them be the one to ask you questions about your business because they're using some formula to decide if they're going to invest in you. I find that offensive. I want investors who are operator investors. These are folks who have been in the seat of a startup. It could have been with Kayak when they started, or Constant Contact, or some other startup, but they have been in the seat, so they understand your investment, not someone out of Williams College or Dartmouth or Harvard who, yes, they've had some good training in finance and crunching numbers, but they have no idea what you're really bringing to the plate as a founder, which is the incredible grit and tenacity and resilience that you do every single day to show up for your business, for your team, etc. So, okay, I'll get off my soapbox on that. Please share with us, how can the Startup Life Live community help you add wind to your sails, open some doors for you?
I got to tell you, thank you so much. And thank you for that question, because people don't normally ask, how can they help? We're in the client acquisition. So if you have connections to colleges and universities, conference and event leaders, or business enterprise with 500 or more employees, would love for you to put us in contact with them. They can always go to mixtroz.com and we can have somebody reach back. We also, I'm preparing for a Q3 raise. And although we have a lead identified, would love for this not to drag on like, 27 years. We're going to close this baby in 3 months or less. Would love any connections to angels through VCs, but I am looking for visionary people who will appreciate what the big thing we're solving, what our potential is, what we've been able to do with a little, and how we have grown. I am not going to allow somebody to try to strip me of my dignity and all of that, because we're growing. It just, this money will make it go faster. And just, be the best you can be for yourself. Show up for people in this crazy world. Now more than ever, human connectivity and compassion and true community is more important than anything that we have going. So those are things that will be very helpful to Mixtroz, because we people, when you know better, even when you don't, we got to start doing better, because we're kind of getting off center.
Absolutely. And can I just say, everybody, I hope you heard that very carefully. Here come my clappers. Did you hear how well Kerry spoke about her with her ask? She was very clear. Here are the ways you can help. A, B, C, D. Okay. Always have those on the tip of your tongue, founders. Be ready. Even if they don't ask you, you ask them, hey, this is how you could help me. All right. I don't need any more mentoring. I need money. I need connections. I need doors opened at this potential client, customer acquisition. Mm-hmm. And people love to help founders. They really do. And for some, it's an ego trip for them. So exploit it, leverage it, whatever you want to call it. Folks who want to help like that, do it, ask. Do not be afraid to ask. Kerry, oh my gosh, I loved every minute of this. I love your humor around your founder journey. It is so much fun, because folks, we have to laugh while we're doing that. And the Startup Life Live show, we love to laugh about the disasters and everything. Any last words before I pop you in the green room and wrap this up?
No, it has been a delight. It's a great way to end what could be a weary week in the world. Just really appreciate what you're doing, appreciate your audience and people. I'm really getting big on, don't talk if you're not going to follow it up. Do what you say you're going to do. If you don't say it, then don't worry about doing it. But if you're amplifying a message, if you're making promises, live by your words. We got to go back to old school. Let your word be your bond, and really make it, be compassionate, people. You'll want
Oh,
compassion, be compassionate. This is bigger than Mixtroz. It's bigger than the
that's
Startup
right.
Live show. It's about humans. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the green room. This has been awesome.
All right. And I'm going to do one more stitch that on a pillow, everybody. Live by your word. That's so important, and be compassionate. I'm going to pop you in the green room and give you a big hug as soon as I wrap things up. Thank you so much,
You guys have a great
Kerry
weekend.
Schrader, for joining us today and this, wonderful experience, folks. Just so you know, today is a tough day here in the U.S. because we had the Roe versus Wade overturned. And for those of us who it's just so much bigger than abortion and issues like that. It is women's rights. It is human rights. And it's just very discouraging. So it was great to have Kerry here. And so we could take a moment to distract ourselves and celebrate our founder journey, and especially Kerry's founder journey, because wow, she was amazing. You were very welcome, Rebecca Moore. Oh my gosh, it was great to have you here. And I know that Kerry saw your wonderful comment here as well, which is the wisdom of life. Amen. Love your energetics, Kerry. It would be a dream to have one of my daughters work with me. Yes, mama of 3. So let me share with you who's coming up on the show on Tuesday, June 28th at 1 p.m. EST. We're chatting with serial founder, author, and CEO at the Impact Seat Foundation, Cheryl Comte. This is her book. Right here, right behind me here. Oop, oop, oop. There we go. And Cheryl Conte is a phenomenal founder, and she is going to be sharing her entrepreneurial wisdom with us. She launched an amazing company, and her book, Mechanical Bull, is a phenomenal guide for any founder who wants to find their way to success, not somebody else's guide. And how do you know whenever we launch a new show? Well, you come on over to the meetup group right here, scan that QR code or visit that link and sign up, join the group, and that way you'll receive an alert whenever we go live. I hope to see you here. And there you go, Cheryl Conte, helping female founders find their pathway to success. Whew. Lots going on at the Startup Life Live show. Can't wait to see you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm blowing you kisses filled with appreciation. Mwah. I'm wishing you a delicious day everywhere you glow. Cheers.